Well, this weekend, Minnesota Republicans endorsed Dr. Scott Jensen for governor after a contentious and lengthy process. 2,000 delegates met up in Rochester yesterday for their state convention. It was very close for several rounds of voting among some candidates. By the end, it was a showdown between business executive Kendall Qualls and Dr. Scott Jensen. Dr. Jensen finally won more than 60% of the delegates in the 9th round of balloting. This morning, I spoke to Dr. Jensen. Take a look. And joining us now is Dr. Scott Jensen, the Republican nominee for governor. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, Esme. I appreciate it.
All right. The Republican Party hasn't won a statewide race. You know this since 2006, largely because they have not been able to appeal to suburban swing voters, especially women. What are you going to do to change that?
Great point. Right now, I think 80% of the people that follow us on social media are women, and I believe 60% of our donors are women. We're absolutely trying to reach out based on the issues that they're elevating. I think the Republican Party can be criticized for potentially not being attentive enough to the issues that moms and grandmas and women and business women are raising, and minority women. So we've really tried to focus on that, and we're going to continue to try, because I really believe that so many women are engaged mightily on state issues, and they have a lot of insight into what we need to be doing. So we're going to do that, and we're also going to go very much after the millennials and the Gen Zs, and as sincerely as possible, ask them, please, join us at the table. We're not asking you just for your vote. We're not asking you to spectate. We need you. And the same with the minorities. We need to go to those folks, because in so many ways, the conservative agenda does match up with what they're interested to.
Dr. Jensen, since we're talking about women's issues, abortion is going to be a big one. Passions on both sides here. I have heard you say in interviews that you are definitely pro-life and that you are against abortions with the exception of when a mother's life is in danger. Am I getting your position correctly?
I think, yeah, when a mother's health is in danger, I think we have to prioritize the mother's health. But I really think, the most important thing is that Roe v. Wade is 49 years old as a document and as a court ruling. Over those 49 years, there's been a lot of medical technology, and there's really no reason for abortion to be any type of birth control. I think my running mate, Matt Burke, said it best when he said, what I really want is I want Minnesota to have that hard discussion. Let's talk about abortion. Is abortion something that should be funded by the government? Is it okay at 15 weeks, 25 weeks, 35 weeks? Is it okay a few days before the delivery is going to happen?
Well, let me ask you, sir, what about the exceptions? Any exception for rape or incest?
Well, again, I think if those two events, either one, would cause a woman's health to be in danger, then it would be an exception. But otherwise,
only if it causes the mother's health to be in danger, then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about something, because you did something really unusual for somebody who's just won a nomination that you've worked so hard for. You apologized to the delegates for being on the wrong side of the gun rights issue, or the gun control issue, a few years ago. In 2017, you were the author, you weren't just a supporter, you were the author of 2 major gun control measures, including universal background checks. There were 2 mass shootings this weekend, including one in New York that left 10 people dead. You said back then that your position for gun control just made sense. Did you change your mind in order to win this nomination for governor?
No, Esme, I've been saying this for 15 months, but yesterday numerous delegates said, we really need clarification. What happened? And what happened was I didn't author either of those 2 bills. I put my name on it as a trailing co-author. And I didn't see the one was the straw man purchase, which I think many people agree that we can toughen up the sentences and for the crime of buying guns simply to sell to someone else at a premium. But the other issue was the background check bill. And for me, it wasn't about registering guns or universal background. It was more to do with does the background check that we have in place work? Are people who should be prohibited being prohibited? But I also felt that in 2017 and 18, we had a Republican House, a Republican Senate, a Republican Lieutenant Governor in 2018. I felt that was the time to cobble together some things and stand your ground, do some things, but have the hard conversation. We weren't having that. It was like we were shying away from it. I stand strongly for Second Amendment rights, but I felt like, why aren't we elevating them? Why are we sort of hiding in the corner? Okay. So the reason for the apology, Esme, is I think that my effort in 2018 was klutzy. It was born of a rookie's non-veteran understanding of how things work. And so I apologize to you. I put myself in a place that made them uncomfortable. Okay. And it was a mistake. I wish if I had a mulligan, I would have done it over. Okay. But I didn't.
Well, let me ask you, sir, if we can move on. You said again last night, suggested that Secretary of State Steve Simon should go to jail for election irregularities. What evidence do you have of election irregularities that Steve Simon is responsible for?
Well, first, there's the rejection of what he tried to do in regards to extending when absentee ballots could be returned. The Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals reversed that. That's one. Two is we worked hard to compromise in the legislature in 2020. Senator Mary Criffmeyer worked very diligently with Steve Simon, and we put a compromise package together, and he was willing to accept that. And then when the legislature adjourned, Steve Simon didn't stop. He had his own agenda, and so he moved into the courts where he was able to get more done that he wanted.
Well, and that was because of COVID. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, court after court, though, affirmed the Secretary of State's actions because of the COVID epidemic.
At the time of the election, we were not in a lockdown, and the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals did not affirm Steve Simon's action. It reversed it.
Okay. Well, Dr. Scott Jensen, we are going to be following you for quite some time. It's not clear if you're going to have a primary opponent, but obviously you've got the Republican nomination, which for Republicans is pretty much a very significant boost to your campaign, obviously. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you, Esme.
And DFL Party Chair Ken Martin said, quote, Minnesota Republicans have chosen the most extreme and dangerous candidate to lead their party in the fall. He went on to say this fall voters will have a clear choice between Scott Jensen's extremism and Governor Walz's responsible leadership. A recent KSTP Survey USA poll shows Governor Walz leading Jensen 44% to 39%, with 4% favoring a candidate of another party and 13% are undecided.